The Apple Vision Pro is shaping up to have huge potential in the world of computing and entertainment, but I wanted to know, could it hold up as a fitness device? To find out, I've been putting it through the works, from Peloton classes to strength training to boxing, mobility, and more. So let's see how each of these fitness experiences hold up while having this thing strapped to your face, because despite fitness being one of the most popular use cases for other headsets like the Meta Quest, the Apple Vision Pro really isn't marketed yet for fitness. And I think there's 4 reasons for that. One, I think Apple wants to separate itself as much as possible from other devices like the Meta Quest. So they are really purposely shying away from what people normally associate with virtual reality, like gaming and fitness, and instead want the focus to be on computing, entertainment, and spatial videos. 2, I think Apple just wants to have as smooth of a launch as possible and are concerned about people accidentally breaking the Vision Pro, because while it is surprisingly solid, it is still covered in glass, and so for now they're really trying to discourage any sort of moving around with the Vision Pro, despite its incredibly responsive and low latency pass-through. 3 is that Apple had reportedly planned to have some body tracking features to be used for fitness apps, and right now that is still something they seem to be working on. So I think they're saving the focus on fitness until they release more fitness related updates that will allow developers to make more unique experiences on the Vision Pro that can't be done with any other headset. And finally, Apple knows that most people are not going to want to sweat in a $3,500 plus device that they are also wearing for work, at least not right away, especially until there are more third-party products released that make it more well-suited for that fitness use, such as specific pads that are better for sweat and can be more easily washed. And while these are all fair reasons to wait a bit before working out with this, I wanted to start testing out the Apple Vision Pro's potential as a fitness tool, starting with indoor cycling. Because indoor cycling is really one of the most stationary cardio exercises, and so could end up being a perfect opportunity for companies like Peloton or Zwift to easily provide powerful and immersive experiences. Now, Peloton doesn't actually have an app designed for the Vision Pro yet, and they actually opted out to allow their iPad app to be used here as well. But luckily, I was still able to sign in and load up a class via internet browsers like Safari. And so what I did is I loaded up the class on both the Peloton bike and on the Apple Vision Pro, since as of right now, the Peloton bike screen is the only real way to see your power output and cadence and all of your stats. So I placed myself into an immersive environment with just enough pass through to still see the bottom of my bike screen where all the stats are, and made the class video on the Vision Pro like 100 feet wide, floating in the sky with me on top of this mountain. And I have to say, even just doing this made for a pretty incredible and immersive experience. Though to be honest, even as good as it was, it probably isn't good enough for me to regularly take classes with the Vision Pro, at least not until Peloton develops their own app for it and starts filming some of their classes with immersive or spatial video, so you can feel like you're actually there in the Peloton studio with the instructor. Because if they offer that, and rumors are this is something they are actually currently testing and developing for, then I think I would definitely be willing to wear the Vision Pro for that sort of experience, especially since working out and even, sweating with this headset is actually a lot more comfortable than the Meta Quest. Because for one, even though having this external battery may seem like it would be an issue, it really isn't a big deal at all for cycling. And most importantly, it helps keep the Vision Pro from heating up very much at all. And so the headset doesn't get warm and cook your face in quite the same way that the Quest does. Also, the way Apple designed the light blocker and light pads is really perfect for fitness, because this main light blocker itself is made from mesh, which means this headset feels super breathable. And I have yet to have the lenses here fog up at all, which if you've ever worked out with a Meta Quest, then you know that when things start to heat up, your vision starts to get very blurry as the lenses do fog up. And then what is also perfect here is that these light pads can pop off super easily and be swapped out, and they're washable, and they also just suck up all of your sweat, so you don't really get that much of an uncomfortable feeling as you would with more traditional covers or fitness covers that are made from silicone for other VR devices. Because a lot of this sweat that you have on your face is now being sucked up by this light pad, and so it's not really falling or dripping down your face, which you can't really wipe off with a headset on. Of course, this will be even better when third parties come up with even better light blockers and pads, more specifically designed for fitness. But Apple already has a great start here with just what comes in the box. And luckily the Vision Pro comes with 2 light pads. So if you do want to play around with working out in it, I suggest designating 1 light pad for that purpose, the one you normally do not like to use. And again, you can wash that afterwards with water and unscented dishwasher soap and just let it dry and it'll be nice and clean. Also for cardio, I tested out boxing, rowing, and running with the Apple Vision Pro, and the results for this were a bit more mixed. Boxing was fun, and it was nice to see that big fight camp class on the screen right next to me, but the headset would move quite a bit, and so probably not worth doing until there's a more immersive experience available there. Rowing I actually thought was really cool. I loaded up the Aviron app on the Vision Pro, and it paired seamlessly with the Aviron Go Rower, which I just recently reviewed, and so I was able to take classes on there with this giant screen in front of me, though there was a small issue in that whenever I got to the front of the rower, the immersion would fade a little bit as it tried to warn me that I was too close to an object. So some things to work out there. And then when running, well, running was a pretty terrible and short-lived experience because at least with the straps currently available, they're just not really tight enough to keep the Vision Pro from bobbing up and down a bit while you run. So not really something I felt would be worth it no matter what sort of experiences were made available. That said, walking on the treadmill is actually very well built for the Vision Pro and is actually something I've been doing multiple times per day because since I work from home, I like to sometimes take, short 10 to 20 minute breaks from sitting and then work with my laptop while walking on the treadmill. Now, the problem with that is I sort of have to look down at this small screen and have to have my hands up in the air next to the trackpad or keyboard. And so it's not a very natural walking position. But with the Vision Pro, again, I can just make a huge screen that's set out right in front of me, and I can control the Vision Pro with mostly my eyes and making small taps and swipes with my fingers. So it's been a really great way to add in some extra steps throughout the day while I'm doing some less intensive work, and walking and working with the Vision Pro in this way just feels a lot more natural. Of course, there's a lot more to fitness than just cardio. So I wanted to test out how it held up with strength training as well. And while I did test the Vision Pro with some more traditional free weights, I was a bit worried about accidentally smacking the glass with a barbell or the dumbbell, and I didn't really find that it added a lot of value there. But when I paired the Vision Pro with a digital weight machine like the Vitruvian Trainer, now that was actually a really cool experience. So if you haven't heard of the Vitruvian Trainer before, it's essentially a platform that you stand on that you can attach handles and barbells and all sorts of accessories to. And then via an app, you can adjust the weight that you want all the way up to 440 pounds. So you can really do some legit strength training with very minimal space. And what's nice is that Vitruvian is controlled via an app and is available on the Vision Pro. So instead of having to try to grab and adjust things on my phone after every set or set up a stand for an iPad, I could just put the display right in front of me and change movements or change the weight very easily, again, just with my eyes and a few taps. And then I could even see my reps count up as I completed each set. So a pretty amazing combination of kind of 2 tech devices that definitely makes workouts feel very futuristic. Now, is it a good enough experience to make me want to wear the Vision Pro while I strength train? I mean, maybe. It's nice to be able to just control everything without having to grab my phone, and I don't really sweat that much while strength training, so it was completely comfortable the whole time. But personally, I probably won't use it too often this way until there's maybe a bit more of a compelling experience, especially since I'm wearing this headset all day for work anyway. I don't necessarily need to wear it while I lift. Oh, and that's one more thing I did want to mention is comfort wearing the headset all day, because I've heard that some people find wearing the Vision Pro uncomfortable for long periods with that solo knit strap. And I agree, it's pretty uncomfortable. But with a dual loop strap, I have felt zero fatigue in either my neck or my face while wearing it for 6 to 8 hours per day for multiple days now. So I really think it's just about ensuring that you have a good fit, and hopefully people who do have issues will find a better fit through third-party straps that should be coming soon. So I also tested the Apple Vision Pro with mobility, yoga, and meditation programs, and it was a really great experience here for the most part, especially the immersion and just being able to take myself out of my environment to help me better focus. And since I could blow up the screens to any size and easily move them around as I changed positions, I could always see the instruction and see exactly what I should be doing. The only real issue I had that you have to be careful with is during yoga, because if you have to put your head down with movements like a downward dog, the Vision Pro is going to want to slide off your head. So maybe not the best option for all yoga stuff, but definitely a nice option to add for mobility and meditation classes. And last but not least, well, maybe least, is taking dedicated fitness classes through apps designed on the Vision Pro. And currently there really is not a lot available here on launch, but surprisingly, Apple did add the fitness game Synth Riders to the Apple Arcade. Now this game has been around for a long time, and I know it has a pretty dedicated and hardcore fan base, and I've played this game a ton on the MetaQuest when I was reviewing that as well. And while I think it looks and sounds better while wearing the Vision Pro, not having controllers in your hand that you can hold and get some haptic feedback makes the experience here noticeably worse. The hand tracking is kind of cool here, where Synth Riders puts your hands in these colored balls, and they provide visual effects to help make up for the lack of haptic feedback. But still, when doing something for fitness, whether it's AR, VR, or mixed reality, I think it's important to have some sort of equipment, whether it's traditional equipment that you can see or use via the pass-through, or even just controllers to provide haptic feedback. Just having your hands isn't really the best experience. So not sure if Synth Riders will see as much success here as they do on other devices. Now, of course, I do want to make it clear that I do not suggest buying the Apple Vision Pro, as expensive as it is, just for fitness. I would only get it if the price makes sense for you to use it for multiple reasons, such as like work and entertainment. But I also think that fitness can be added as an additional use case and provide additional value to those who have already justified the purchase. Of course, if you really want to play around with just fitness in VR, you can opt in for the much cheaper MetaQuest 3, but I wanted to make this video to demonstrate that despite it not being advertised for fitness yet, the Apple Vision Pro is very much the best fitness VR AR headset available, and is something I'm excited to continue to experiment and cover as I figure out new things to do and new experiences and test out different third-party support when it comes. So make sure to subscribe to Connect the Watts if you want to stay up to date with the latest on Vision Pro and its fitness capabilities, or just fitness tech in general. As always, this is Colin Jenkins with Connect the Watts. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time.